Do you believe that the cosmetics used by concubines 1,000 years ago were made from a flower that only bloomed during the changing seasons? No chemicals, no artificial ingredients. That's how the ancients created the most seductive red color from nature. Rose powder, a symbol of pure and elegant beauty. Freshly picked petals are washed to remove dirt, retaining the most quintessential cotton fibers that nature has to offer. Through multiple water filtrations, only the essence is retained, preparing for the magical transformation into traditional rose powder. After being washed, the petals are transferred to a stone mortar and pounded little by little. No machines are used, only skill and time. Each stroke of the pestle is a breath associated with tradition, distilling the natural red color in each fragile flower fiber. The crushed flowers are added with water, then kneaded thoroughly. When the flower powder sticks together into a block, the worker gently rolls it into a ball and places each ball into a large jar. Water is poured into the jar to awaken the hidden color inside. The craftsman washes away any remaining impurities. The mixture is then ladled through a layer of cloth, filtered again, retaining only the bright red essence, as clear as early autumn dew. And so the process continues. Ladle water, knead, filter through cloth, and then start all over again. Not once, but for 5 times. Each round of filtering is a time when the essence becomes purer, clearer, deeper, until only the elegant red color remains as the ancients wished. After washing the flowers enough times, they are brought out to dry in the sun. No oven, no electric heat, just sunlight and patience. Next, the craftsman burns the straw to extract the natural alkaline inside. The ash is poured into water, stirred well, and filtered many times until the water becomes clear while still retaining its hidden power. This is the traditional secret, an alkaline water from straw, which helps stabilize the color and bind the essence of the flower sustainably. When the flowers are dry, alkaline ash water is poured in very slowly and evenly. The craftsman kneads them carefully with his hands, so that each flower strand is deeply absorbed by the natural alkaline layer. The mixture is then left alone, resting for a day. After a day of rest, the mixture of flowers and ashes has permeated each other to the core. The craftsman gently filters one more time, separating the finest essence, retaining the stable and clear red color. This is the final filtering step, also the final test of patience. The worker will crush the lemon and filter out the clear juice, not for fragrance but to balance the flavor. The lemon juice will help adjust the natural pH, brighten the color, and keep the flower essence from tarnishing over time. The flower juice is mixed with freshly filtered lemon juice, creating a fresh and cool pink color. Continue adding pearl powder not only to create a shimmer for the skin, but also to nourish and smooth naturally. Finally, add in the rice flour mixture. This fine white powder helps thicken the texture, create adhesion, and gives a soft feeling when applied to the skin. When all the ingredients are perfectly blended, the mixture is filtered to remove excess water, keeping only the most concentrated essence. The craftsman gently hangs it up to dry with wind and time. No heat pressing, no machines, just patient waiting. for each grain of pollen to dry, keeping intact the floral scent, color, and natural essence inside. When completely dry, the natural powder begins to clump into small pieces. The worker carefully grinds it again, bit by bit, until it turns into a fine powder, light as mist, soft as silk. Finally, the fine powder is carefully placed in a small jar. The craftsman uses a tool to compact each layer, creating a firm, smooth, and even texture. After many quiet months, a traditional powder jar is born. Not just a cosmetic, but the crystallization of nature, craftsmanship, and thousand-year-old memories. No preservatives, no artificial flavors, just Oriental ingredients, beeswax, and a secret recipe hidden for thousands of years. This is not an ordinary lipstick, but a traditional formula used in the Forbidden Palace, only for queens and concubines. Are you ready to discover? The craftsman prepares precious aromatics. There are fragrant sandalwood, warm and deep agarwood, cool patchouli, spicy cloves, sweet frankincense, and a mixture of things that create ancient bass notes. Some are rolled finely, others are pounded into powder, so that each grain of incense, when melted, will penetrate deeply into each drop of lipstick, creating a scent that is both discreet and seductive. Wild honey is poured into a copper pan, starting its transformation journey under fire. Each drop of honey boils, giving off a sweet aroma. When the honey has boiled evenly, the craftsman begins to add each flavor, not in a hurry, but carefully as if mixing a precious medicine. Sandalwood, agarwood, frankincense, cloves, each one gradually dissolves in the shimmering amber liquid. The scent immediately spreads warm, deep, sweet, gentle. In another jar, the craftsman prepares the base scent that creates depth and emotion for the lipstick scent. Mao Hung is light as morning dew, the aromatic, fresh scent of bergamot, and Lingji, the most seductive scent of nature. Next, pure sesame oil is poured in, a benign oil that can be applied to the skin, keeping lips soft for hours. A little bit of Hong Tu, traditional yellow rice wine, is added to preserve the scent, kill bacteria, and smooth the lipstick base. All are sealed for a day. After a day of lying still on the charcoal stove, the worker carefully poured out the oil and filtered it, leaving only the clear, fragrant essence in another jar, then immediately sealed it. When both the jar of incense and the jar of honey are ready, the craftsman gently places them together like two hot air vessels, intersecting at a single point. A mixture of straw and mud is placed tightly around the mouth of the joint, preventing light from entering or steam from escaping. This is when the closed furnace is created, where the incense and honey blend in the dark, under a quiet, ancient pressure. The two jars, after being joined, were buried deep in the ground. The craftsman covered them with a layer of charcoal, then sprinkled dry rice husks, things that kept the fire smoldering, burning evenly. The fire did not flare up brightly, but quietly spread into the ground for 4 days and 4 nights. In the darkness and heat, honey, essential oils, and rosemary slowly blended, condensed, and regenerated into a completely new form of lipstick. This is the incense furnace, the secret chamber, the most sacred part of the ancient lipstick-making profession. The craftsman began to melt the yellow beeswax. As the wax gradually heated up, a handful of dried acaranthes root was added. Acaranthes, a secret herb, was once a symbol of beauty in the harem. In each strand of that dried root, there is a history of ancient aesthetics. After 4 days of being submerged in charcoal and rice husks, the two jars were dug up, still warm, imbued with fragrance and thyme. The craftsman carefully filtered each part, retaining the essential oil and condensed vermilion honey. At the same time, the red color from the purple grass was also distilled into water. All aromatic essential oil, wild honey, beeswax, and purple grass water were blended in one final boil. This was the moment of convergence, where the color, fragrance, and spiritual energy of heaven and earth merged, creating an immortal vermilion color.